my name is Claire Alley. Today I'll be taking you a flow to work into your shoulders and open into the chest. So we'll be working on lengthening through the front line of the body, opening into our quads, and working into the rib cage. So expanding the diaphragm so there's more space for us to breathe. So for this particular flow, you will need a strap. If you don't have a strap with you, find a piece of material that can also work, and you'll also need a wall close by. So if you don't have a wall close to where you're lying your yoga mat, you can just bring the phone or the laptop with you to the wall. It's about a couple of minutes that we'll spend there, so not for the whole class. So to begin with, just taking some centering breaths, find a comfortable seat. Perhaps take a cushion and just bring it underneath your sit bones. This just gives the pelvis a bit more space and gives the spine a bit more length. Take your hands down to your knees. And we'll take a few centering breaths. Taking a big inhale into the nose. Hold the breath. And then exhale, side out. And again, big inhale in. Hold the breath. And exhale, side out. Lift from the base of your spine. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears. Roll them back behind you. And then slightly tuck your chin so the back of the neck is long. Keeping the eyes closed, just allowing the muscles of the face to hang heavy. And then gently open your eyes. Inhale, breath, arms to rise. Reach up through the fingertips and then take your hand down to the mat. Extend the opposite arm up over the head. Twist your chest up towards the ceiling and draw your shoulder back away from the ear. Coming back to the center, taking the opposite side. This hand can come up on a cushion if you feel like you need a little bit more space. Again, the chest rotates up towards the ceiling. Reach from the fingertips all the way down to the sit bones. So the sit bones stay rooted on the mat or on the cushion. And then release, come back to the center. Take your chin to your chest. Roll the head over to the side. Take the hand on top of the ear and use the weight of your hand to find a stretch through the side of the neck. You can take this free arm out wide. Take your hand to the back of the head, draw the chin towards the chest, and you'll now feel the stretch through the back of the neck. Release, take your head back to the center, take the opposite side, hand comes onto the ear and you just use the weight of the hand to gently work through the side of the neck. And then this free hand can come out wide. Take your hand to the back of the head, draw the chin towards the chest, the head is now on an angle. And you'll feel a stretch through the back of the neck. Release, come back to the chin center. Chin comes towards the chest and just roll the head from side to side. See if you can really slow this down. Perhaps if you want to go there, you can take the head all the way back around. Take it in the opposite direction if you haven't already. bring yourself back to the center. Come onto the hands and knees. Take tabletop. And as always, what I like to do is just go through some cat-cows just to warm up into the spine. You can really freestyle this movement. So just rolling into the spine in whichever way you like. Then release, come back to center, extend your right leg out behind you, press into the ball of the foot. And then lifting up the leg, extend the left arm forward, reach back, take a hold of your foot with your hand, press the foot up towards the ceiling, bend into your supporting arm. And then release. We take the opposite side, so left leg extends, press into the ball of the foot. Extend the leg back behind you, reach the right fingertips forward. Reach your right hand back, take hold of the left ankle, and then extend the foot up towards the ceiling. You can find a wee twist by opening that right shoulder in towards the midline if you like. And then gently lower. We'll turn out onto this left leg and then extend the right leg back behind you. Reach the right fingertips up over the head. So really reach from the fingertips all the way to the blade edge of the back foot. Press your pelvis forward. And then you can start to circle out this arm, get into the shoulder. And we really want to reach through the rib cage into the diaphragm so you get this nice side body stretch. And then taking hold of your foot, so right hand comes to right foot, press your pelvis forward, bend into your grounding arm, and rather than coming into a back bend, you're actually getting into your front quad. So you feel it on the thigh. Release, taking the opposite side. I'll turn to face this side. So the right leg comes into the center. You'll extend the left leg back behind you. Reach the left fingertips high. Take your shoulder away from your ear and reach from the fingertips all the way to the blade edge of the back foot. Press your pelvis forward. Reach back behind you. Take hold of your left foot. And then pressing the pelvis forward, instead of coming into a back bend, you're working into your front thigh. Check in with the breath, so nice, easy breaths in and out through the nose. And then release. We bring it back onto the hands and knees. Extend back, downward dog. Just shake the hips from side to side. Paddle out through the feet. And then bend into the knees. Send the chest towards the thighs and the sit bones nice and high. Coming onto the balls of the feet. Roll through the spine. Take plank pose. Big inhale breath. And exhale, downward dog. Okay, and coming onto the balls of the feet. Rolling your way through the spine. Plank pose. This time, roll onto the outside edge of the left foot. Extend the right fingertips up over the head. Reach from your fingertips all the way to your feet. And again, same thing as we did at the beginning where you're finding a stretch through your side body. Press the pelvis forward. And then release. We come back to the center, take the opposite side. Rolling onto the blade edge of the right foot, left arm extends. Reach from your fingertips all the way to your feet, lift your hips high. And then lower, extend back, downward dog. Coming onto the balls of the feet, take plank pose, lower your knees down. Take your shoulders forward over your wrists, lower the belly all the way down. We take arms out wide, come onto spider fingers, Inhale, breath to raise up through the chest. Draw the shoulders back away from your ears and then bend the elbows. And gently lower. This time you'll take the hands back behind you, lift up through the legs, lift the chest, and find a lift of your core. So raise the belly button in towards the spine. So everything here is an extension of your core. Raise the legs a little bit higher, lift up through the chest again. And then you can wave out through the fingertips. And gently lower. Take your arms out wide. You'll pick your left foot up and then take it back behind you as you roll your head on its side. So you're really opening through your right shoulder. Bring it back to the center. Take the opposite side. So right leg lifts. Bring it back behind you. Open into the left shoulder. I don't have too much space here, but release. Come back to the center. Press into your palms. Take your knees wide. Come through puppy pose. Bring the forearms down to the mat. Take the hands into prayer and then bring them behind the head. You want to press your upper arms down and hollow out your armpits. Release, coming back onto the hands and knees, extending the right arm up towards the ceiling. Thread it underneath the left. Extend left fingertips out in front of you. Come onto spider fingers. And then take the side of the head down to the mat. Bringing yourself back onto the hands and knees. We take the opposite side. So the left arm lifts, thread it underneath the right. Extend the right fingertips forward. Come onto spider fingers again. Draw the shoulder away from the ear and turn your head on its side. Just check in with the breath again. So nice, even, deep, easy breaths. And then slowly release, bringing it back onto the hands and knees. Untuck the toes, extend back, downward dog. Walk your feet up towards your hands. Take opposite hands to opposite elbows. The feet can come hip distance apart or even a little bit wider if you like. Bend into the knees as much as you need to and bring the weight further forward into the balls of your feet. Release the hands, just dangle from side to side. Press into the feet, bend into the knees, slowly roll your way up to stand. Take your shoulders, draw them back away from your ears. Turn your palms to face out, step forward to the front of the mat. Really press down through all four corners of your feet. Slightly bend into your knees, especially if you have a tendency to lock out through your joints. A slight bend into the knees. Feel strong through your feet, your knees, and your pelvis. So your core is nice and stable here. We take 2 deep breaths. Inhale, arms to rise. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step your feet back, plank pose. This time, shoulders come over wrists, elbows bend, halfway plank. Inhale, untuck the toes, come into upward dog. And exhale, take it back, downward dog. Picking up the right leg, kicking the right heel towards the sit bone, pause here, open into your hip. And really feel the length down the left leg. Draw the knee in towards the right tricep, hold. And exhale, extend the leg back, 3-legged dog. Draw the knee in towards the chest, coming high onto the ball of the left foot. Step the foot between your hands. Lower the back knee down. Inhale, arms sweep up over the head. Exhale, interlace the hands, bring them behind the head. Again, on an inhale breath, we lift up through the chest, and exhale, gently just glide your weight back. Release your hands down. If you can, bring them down onto the mat. If you can't, just take them out wide. Release. Plant the palms either side of the front foot. Uncurl the back toes and then straighten through the front leg. So we're going into a variation of Parsvottanasana, but the back leg stays lifted, the heel stays lifted. If you have blocks or perhaps even books, you can place your fingertips on them either side, place them either side of your front foot. Bending into the front knee, inhale, sweep the arms up for a high lunge. And then bending into the back knee, tuck your pelvis forward, cactus out the arms and hold. Really flex into your back heel here. So the breath is nice and steady but strong. Lengthen out through the back leg. Inhale, breath, arms sweep forward. Glide your chest forward and lift your lower belly away from your front thigh. So reaching from the fingertips all the way to the back heel. And then framing the front foot, step back, plank pose, hold here, take 3 deep breaths. Feel your own strength, so let the floor lift you up. Take shoulders forward of wrists, hug elbows in, lower halfway plank. If you need to, lower all the way onto your belly. And then inhale into upward dog, thighs are lifted. If you took cobra, the thighs and pelvis can stay on the mat. We pause here. And exhale, take it back, downward dog. 3 deep breaths in downward dog. Give yourself time just to feel into the sensations that are running through your body, and give you a moment to find yourself, give yourself a moment to find yourself in the pose. We take the opposite side, picking up the left leg, kicking the heel towards your sit bone, pause, feel the length through the right side. Coming onto the ball of the right foot, draw the left knee in towards the left tricep and hold. Extend the leg back. 3-legged dog, and then knee comes in towards the midline, step it between the hands, lower your back knee down. Inhale, sweeping the arms up over the head. And then on an exhale breath, you interlace the hands, place them behind your head. Inhale breath to raise up through the chest. And exhale, gently glide your weight back. So take any strain out of the neck. And rather than compressing through your lower back, think about opening through your shoulders and your chest. You can take the fingertips down to the mat if they can go there. And if you would like to, you can take the head back. If that's a little bit too much of a strain, just take the arms out wide. Last inhale breath. And then exhale breath. Frame through the front foot. Untuck the back toes. Parsvottanasana variation with the back heel lifted. Again, feel free to use blocks or bricks just to go underneath these front hands. This will give you a little bit more space. Bending into the front knee, inhale breath, arms to rise, high lunge. And then bending into the back knee, press your pelvis forward, kick out through your back heel. So you're finding a little bit of a dull ache through this back quad. Some of you it might be a little bit more sharper than others. Last inhale. Then lengthen through the back leg, sweeping the arms forward. Bring it into a Superman stance, so really reach from your front fingertips all the way to your back heel, but lift the lower belly away from the front thigh. Last inhale breath. And exhale, framing through the front foot, step back, plank pose, shoulders come forward of wrists, hug elbows in, lower the body halfway. Inhale into upward dog, take cobra if you need to. And exhale, bring it back, downward dog. We have 5 deep breaths in downward dog. If you'd like to take a variation, you can just bend into the knees and really work your way into the spine. Perhaps you invite a bit of movement into it, take it from side to side. And then coming down onto your knees, we take the forearms onto the mat, press the palms down, spread your fingers wide, and extend through the legs. Take dolphin pose, draw the shoulders back away from the ears. So instead of being like bunched up here, there's a lot of space between the shoulders and the ears, and that allows the chest to glide forward. You can start to walk the feet up towards your hands, but this particular dolphin is more about the chest gliding forward. 3 breaths. Last inhale. And exhale, take your knees down to the mat. Take your hands back behind you, taking hold of the feet. Just roll the forehead from side to side. Gently make your way back onto your knees. We have one more exciting plank variation and then we'll switch it up. So extending back, downward dog. Coming onto the balls of the feet, plank pose. Plant your left palm into the center line, roll onto the outside edge of your left foot. Right fingertips extend high. Pick up the top leg, step it back behind you. Arm sweeps up over the head for a nice low wild thing. So really reach through the side body here. Bringing it back to center. We come back through plank. If you need to, you can take a little rest, perhaps a downward dog break. And then when you're ready, you plant right palm into the center line, roll onto the outside edge of the right foot. Left fingertips extend high towards the ceiling. Raise up through the top leg. Step the foot back behind you. Left arm sweeps up over the head. Really reach from your fingertips all the way through the side body. And then slowly lower. Come back through plank pose. Extend back, downward dog. Walk your feet back towards your hands. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Interlace your hands, bend into your knees. We take a big inhale breath. And exhale to side out. Plugging into your feet. Slowly roll yourself up to stand. Take your shoulders back away from your ears. And then stepping forward to the front of the mat. So I'm going to turn to face you guys. But you'll take your feet hip distance apart. Inhale, breath, arms to rise. Take hold of your wrist with the hand. So opposite hand to opposite wrist. And then just find again a nice side body stretch. Release, take the opposite side. Just watch out that there's not an overarch through the spine here, or through the lower back. You want to pull it in and bend into your knees so you're really plugged in. And then release, free up the shoulders. And then make your way to a wall. We're not going to be here for too long, so you can take your phone or your laptop with you. You may, if you're on a wooden floor, you may want to bring a cushion or even roll up your mat and bring it to the wall. And then you'll take your knee to the wall. Get it as far up to the wall as possible. And then the opposite foot comes out in front of you. So we're getting through the quad. The reason why we're targeting the quad is because we really want to open up through the body and then open into the shoulders. If we just open into the shoulders, or we just open through the back, the spine, and come into a back bend, there's no length before we go back. So we're really doing ourselves a disservice. There's not as much space to get into. So press the pelvis forward. Release, bend into your front knee, take your hands down to the mat. You can come onto your fingertips. If it was too much for you to do, the first variation of this, some of you may actually want to start here and just work your weight, pressing your sit bones back towards your heel. And then release. We take the opposite side. Bring the knee as far up to the wall as possible, and then this foot comes out. So we've worked a lot into our quads today. Draw this hip back and press your pelvis forward. Find a softening of the breath. And then taking the hands forward, heel ball toeing this foot out wide. You can come onto the blade edge of the foot and actually work further into your hip as well. And then slowly release. Bring yourself back to your mat. I'm going to move my mat forward. And we'll just do a bit more work into the shoulders before bringing it into our peak pose, which is dancer's pose. Taking the arms up over your head, bend into one elbow, draw it down your back, and then take your opposite hand, place it on the elbow. Use the hand to really see if you can glide this hand further down the spine. Again, watch out for your pelvis. So a lot of the time we really arch through our lower back when we're in this position. Maybe you need to back off a little bit as you press your pelvis forward. Find a more of a neutral pelvis and really plug into your feet. So stay nice and grounded. Option 1 to stay here. Option 2, take the opposite hand, bring it back behind you. Maybe the fingertips touch. I got it. One side is always more creaky than the other. And you can also use your strap for this as well, and place a strap between the hands if you can't quite get the hands touching. And then release, give the arms a wee shake. Take the opposite side, elbow comes up over the head. Use this hand to press down on your elbow, and the hand glides its way down the spine. Option to stay here, or take the hand back around, or opposite hand back around, and bring both hands to touch. Again, just watch that stance of perhaps leading too far forward or leading too far back. And then slowly release, shake out the shoulders. We bring the arms wide, take the one forearm underneath the other. Fingertips come up towards the ceiling, forearms glide forward, draw the shoulders back away from the ears. So you should hit a sweet spot between your shoulder blades. And part of the reason why I added so much core work into this flow today is because when you're opening up into the chest, if you have a lazy core, you can actually open almost too far and be like your stance starts to work out here, and that's actually almost a sign of overcompensating, or even overconfidence on more of an energetic level. Take the opposite side. So by working into the core, you have a lot of integrity before you start actually opening into your chest or opening into your heart. When you start to open into your heart and you open your heart to the world and you give and you receive, you want to be strong. That's you want to be doing it from the right place, from a place of integrity and strength, and not from a place of lack. So we get into the core, and from an energetic level, we're more able to give and to receive from the right place. And then slowly release, shake the hips from side to side, take the shoulders up towards the ears. And to come into our peak pose today, which is dancer's pose, you will take your strap. If you don't have a strap, bring your piece of material. I have a sarong, which I sometimes use. Make a little loop. I'll take you through a variation if you don't have a strap that you can use as well. But make a little loop, place it around your foot. And then you'll take your foot up towards take your foot back behind you, and walk your hands down the strap. So once you get to a point where you think, okay, this is my edge, I don't want to lean any further, and really honor that, then press your foot up towards the ceiling, tip your weight forward, and open into your shoulders. Nice, deep, easy breaths. So that is option one. Option two, if you don't have a strap, just taking hold of the inside of the foot. Again, kick your foot and your hand together. Press it up towards the ceiling, and then glide the chest forward, and this hand can come out. And release. So we take the opposite side, bringing the strap into your left foot, taking the foot back behind you, walking your hands down the strap. Hopefully you guys can see my head in the camera. Taking your hands behind you, walking them down the strap. And then once you think, okay, this is good for me, press your hand and your foot together, and then tip your weight forward. And really see if you can draw those shoulders back away from the ears. So there's an opening of the chest, but there's also an opening of the shoulders. And then release. Take the other variation if you didn't have a strap with you. Take the strap to one side. Step forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up to rise. Just give yourself a nice ending stretch. And then exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, breath, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the palms. We step back, downward dog. Bend into your knees. Get the sit bones high. And then coming onto the knees, bringing your weight back to the heels, and just take your palms to face down on your thighs. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Checking for that overarch through the back, and if so, really press your pelvis forward and just have a think about your core. Is it switched on, or are you being really lazy and again overcompensating? And then bringing yourself onto your sit bones. Take the soles of the feet to the mat. We'll come down to lie on our back. And coming into bridge pose, so we've done a big warm up for this. I'll take you through a bridge, and then we'll bring it into full wheel. So palms face down, walk your feet in and just slightly touch the back of your ankles with your fingertips. Press into the feet, Lift the hips high and then interlace the hands behind you. Press into the feet again and send the energy out through your chest. And gently lower. Bring your knees to touch. Take your feet to the outside edges of the mat. Pause here. So option one is to take bridge again. Actually, no, option one is to take a restorative variation of this by just placing a cushion underneath your pelvis and really being in a passive variation of the pose. Option two is to take bridge again, and option three is to bring it up into full wheel. So go to the option that suits you best. I'm going to cue you through full wheel. So for those of you coming up, take your fingertips and place them so that the fingers are pointing towards the feet. On an inhale breath, press through your palms and come onto the crown of your head. Then press through the feet, press into the palms and rise the chest up. You want to begin to straighten the arms. You can walk your feet further in. Turn the big toes inward slightly. Option one is to stay here. Press the energy forward out through your chest. Option two is to come into a variation by taking the forearms down to the mat. Perhaps the hands come into prayer or interlace. And then pressing the chest forward, getting further into the shoulders. Whichever variation you're at, check in with your breath. You want a nice free flow of breath. Very slowly and mindfully make your way out of the pose. Bring your knees to touch. Your feet are as wide as the mat. Hands are on the belly. Take a few rebound breaths. Especially if you came up into full wheel. And then gently window screen wipe the legs from side to side. Draw the knees into your chest. Take hold of your knees with the palms. And then just let your knees hang into your palms and straighten through the arms. Keep the head on the mat. Draw the knees into the chest again. Give yourself a squeeze. Rock from side to side. And then taking hold of the outside edges of the feet. Press your lower back down into the mat. Take a cushion underneath your head. If you feel like the neck is jarred in any way, you want to release it down onto a cushion and just be a little bit more snugly. Press your feet up towards the ceiling. Again, pressing the lower back down. We've done a lot of opening through the shoulders. Now we want to, in the spine, now we want to neutralize the spine. And then slowly release. Take any final last adjustments that you feel your body needs before bringing it into a final relaxation. I'm going to take a supine twist, which I always love to end my flows with. So if you're coming with me, draw one knee into the chest, take it over to the opposite side. It's very bright and sunny in this room, and the sun seems to come full power into my eyes and then it goes away again. Bringing it back to center, taking the opposite side, knee comes into the chest. If you are going into another variation or adjustment before ending class, perhaps you would like to come into a shoulder stand or supported shoulder stand. Is really nice to complement back bends. And and then coming back to the center, making yourself as comfortable as possible for our final relaxation, Shavasana. Maybe you want to starfish out on the mat and take up loads of space, which is definitely the benefit of practicing in your own home, or perhaps prop yourself up with cushions. Some people really love to, myself included, to use this time to go into a seated meditation. So again, go to where feels good for you, but I advise definitely taking at least 5 minutes to soak in and receive the practice. I'll end the sequence with you now. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. It brings me a lot of joy to make these videos. Namaste. If you really liked today's sequence, then please leave me a comment. Go onto my website, sign up for my newsletter. I have a lot of great resources coming out. I do live videos every week through Instagram, and I've got some really cool things coming out on meditation, and I have a 7-day yoga program. So if that is of any interest to you, please send me a message. I would love to hear from you. Namaste.